Soto and Chad here, and we are on episode 10 of the 200 movie challenge. 10! So 10 weeks, Soto. We've
And
done this for 10 fucking weeks.
it doesn't feel that way, but then I look at the list and I'm like, I guess I have seen a lot of movies this year.
We have, and I've been loving it. I've been reliving some movies from the past, things I wanted to see. We made it to 40 last week. 40 different films. And actually, well, by the time this gets on YouTube, it'll already be up, but a fun little video of our top 40 and quick segments from that. Check that out. But before we get, I love the randomness of the views on our friggin' channel on this thing. Because, again, we just put it up. We don't care. People watch, they don't. Like, we get 7, 8. But then Wallace and Gromit yesterday, we're over 100 on that. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe
So
people.
random.
I think it just hits. It's like the Northman. It just somehow hits the algorithm. So I'm gonna I'm curious at the end of the year what might be the top. If anything could beat the Northman, for our standards. But I know because it'll be out a little longer. But yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I definitely have enjoyed going back and forth of watching movies. Kind of like the old days. Kind of like the blockbuster days. You know what I miss? I just miss browsing through movies, seeing what I want to see. And that's how I treated this week. I'm like, I don't know what I had no plan going into this week. No plan. So pop on Netflix Monday. And I'm like, let's just see what catches my eye. But then something happened, Soto. I noticed a film that you recommended to me, and it said leaving Netflix soon. And I didn't want to look up the date. I'm like, I have to watch this. I have to watch this now. I know we both joked about waiting maybe together because you have a Russell Crowe movie and this is a Russell Crowe, and we were going to do it the same week. I'm like, I can't take the chance, of next week it being gone. So I didn't see the date. I'm like, fuck it, I'm watching it now. And that movie, which you already know, is The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and your favorite guy,
Mr. Gosling. Yes,
Ryan
Mr.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Ooh,
He's dreamy.
he is dreamy. Yeah, so this movie came out in 2016. Obviously, you recommended to me. But before I get started on my thoughts, Soto, why? Why did you think I should see this movie? I know you kind of brought it up before, but what made you think when we were just talking movies?
It's funny because it'll tie into, what I saw too, but it's a great. I was surprised by how good it was, and I'm surprised by how kind of slept on it is, but I think mainly what sticks with me with that movie is the chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling's characters, throughout the movie, and that really made me laugh, and it just felt like there could have been more movies based in this universe, especially the way that it kind of ends, and I think it's just kind of a slept on little like sleeper of a classic, at least for me. And definitely a movie that I'll be putting in my collection. So, yeah, that's really why I recommended it, because it's free. And, I feel that if you haven't seen this movie and you have the opportunity to, give it a shot. If you like PI movies with a mystery, with two leads that have really great chemistry, I think it's a perfectly awesome movie. So,
And yes, I kind of went into it blind, outside of the fact that you mentioned it was the chemistry between these two that you liked. So I was like, all right, I didn't know much. And, obviously it starts off, it says like 1970, whatever. And then this kid steals his dad's porno magazine. And then this actress in a car just comes flying out of nowhere, crashing. And I'm thinking, oh, is this like Russell Crowe or Ryan Gosling when they're kids and they're going to grow up? I'm like, no, this is actually part of the major story. Who this kid does not appear in the film ever again. But yeah, I did love Ryan Gosling. I mean, I loved them both. You're right. The chemistry between the two works. I actually loved Ryan Gosling's daughter. I don't know her name, but that actress and that character at first, just, you don't think she's going to be as a major part of this film at first. You just think, oh, he's just kind of not a bad dad, but just he's got too much on his plate. But she's a central part of the story, and she works. Like, I don't want to say she saved the film, but she made a lot of scenes better. And it was just hilarious. And obviously being a father, I think about my daughter. I'm like, when she was a teenager, would she have done this shit? Probably, but I did, and I mean, there's not much I'm going to add that you don't already know for the people. Yes, they start off, they're both investigating in a weird finding, a missing person. I already forget her name, like the main actress, or not the main actress, but the main
Mhm.
point of the whole story. And they're kind of against each other at first because they have different priorities. But then Russell Crowe needs Ryan Gosling, and when he goes to kind of tell him that, there's that bathroom scene where Ryan Gosling's pants are literally down because he's taking a shit, and he's trying to, he has the gun to him,
Yeah.
but he can't. Like that scene is hilarious. It is perfect, and I am dying laughing. It's just a lot of little scenes. Yes, I wasn't expecting that. Nudity in this. I guess I didn't really pay attention to what rating it was, but I was like, oh, okay. But it does
Mhm.
obviously. This whole thing deals with like porn, because
Mhm.
it's about a porn actress and about this video they
Yeah.
don't want to get out. But her mom kind of is just who's somehow running like I forget, like she's not running the CIA, FBI. Like is she a governor? I kind of forgot what she was. Kim Basinger,
I think so. Yes, that's right.
but
Yeah. Forgot
she
about
doesn't
that. But
want
yeah.
like the info getting out. So you're right. I mean, the story's a little crazy, but this movie is just basically Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling being a funny pair. Definitely a funny pair. Um, I,
Dude, so funny.
it is. And just Gosling being drunk and doing things like he goes swimming with the mermaids. And then he falls off the balcony, and and then he's trying to explain to Russell Crowe like how he got there. He's like, did you just fall and find this body? He's like, well, I kind of slipped. I was wet. Why were you wet? Well, I had to ask the mermaids the questions. Like you think about this logically from his point of view, it's just hilarious. So, it is a lot of funny scenes. I did laugh a lot more than
Let's
I
go to
expected.
watch it again.
It's worth it. It's definitely worth watching. And yeah, it's sad
Because
that
like
it's leaving Netflix.
Russell Crowe's like the straight man kind of, and he does a
Oh,
great job
exactly.
being
Yeah.
like the straight heavy, and then like Ryan Gosling's just like the fuck up, and his daughter's like, "You're a fuck up, dad," and it's like just again the comedic timing. Even thinking about it, you talking about it, man, it's making me laugh so much. I want to watch it again.
And Keith David's in this too. He had a small role in this, and
Yes.
I was just like, oh, because obviously I go back to one of our very first Rotten Tastes, Men at Work. Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it was a fun. I don't want to say buddy cop because it was, but it's close. It was just I don't know what more to say. It was entertaining. I
Hmm.
definitely laughed. It probably was something I needed. I wasn't expecting to watch it this week. I'll be honest with you, Soto, because I was just like, maybe I'll just watch some dumb movies. Let's just see what pops up. Hence why, like I said, the browsing was happening. I
Hmm.
just and I'm glad. I went with this, and so I was trying to figure out where to rank it, and I did
Hmm.
laugh. It's definitely in my top 10. I'm trying to pull it up now. I forgot where I put it. Oh yeah, I put it at number 9. So
Hmm.
I put it right under Les Miserables and right above Affair to Remember. We're getting hard. It's getting harder and harder with these rankings. I will tell you that right now because it's like, what do we enjoy, what we don't. But I just felt if you want a fun laugh, this is it. Just don't take it seriously. There's a lot of
No.
craziness, and it's a lot of '70s feel to it, which I liked. I loved it so. But yeah, I think now it's in my top 10. It's at number 9, and
Hmm.
yeah, you know what? This is definitely something. If it was on TV and I had nothing else to do, I would watch it. It's and that should tell you something when we want to watch a movie again. You said you're going to add it to your collection, so I
Oh
do.
hell
I
yeah!
love Ryan
It's
Gosling.
definitely a movie. I mean, definitely a movie I want to add. And to your point, it's just a fun movie to put on. It's got that kind of I don't know, like so the irreverence of the '80s movies that we used to watch, right? Where it was just like two guys just riffing off of each other, and it had a decent enough plot to kind of hang those jokes on. And yeah, I'll definitely be adding it to my collection. So
But you're right. This is something where I mean, if they wanted to, they could definitely do more. It's like a little bit like the Lethal Weapon, just the odd pair, but they work well
yeah,
together. And
right.
yeah, I mean, again, it's been a while since I've enjoyed a Russell Crowe film, which, coincidentally enough, though, I know I saw one in the fall. So, which I hopefully you will see. We talked about this scene Unhinged.
Ah, yes,
But,
unhinged.
his route of his career just was like, I don't know. I don't know if he's making comeback. Then again, I've just not watched a lot of movies because, yeah, this was 2016. So, this is good, and I've slept on later in life Russell Crowe, so he was great. Ryan Gosling's always great, but yes, that daughter, that actress, she definitely made a lot of scenes because she was just playing it with a straight face. You're right, Dad, you're a fuck up. Just it's who you are. So,
That was great. I love that shit. It was awesome. I'm
but
glad you liked it.
I did. It was it was definitely a good suggestion, and like I said, if you need to laugh, you'll laugh. I mean, if it's your type of humor. But Soto,
I
you
like
said
theater
there's
movies.
something that ties into your first movie, so let's get to it.
Yeah.
What was the first movie you saw this week?
So the first movie that I saw this week, and is a movie that I've been trying to watch for a while, and it came out way back in 2014. Um, and it's Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice. It stars Joaquin Phoenix. Josh Brolin's actually also in this, and a few other people here and there. But I was a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson when I was growing up, especially when I was back in the early 2000s, and I was going through film school. Was a big fan of all of his work. I had watched Hard Eight. I had seen Boogie Nights, and then I watched Magnolia, and then ultimately, I think it's funny. Towards the end of my film school life, is right around when There Will Be Blood came out, and There Will Be Blood is just obviously a masterpiece, um, and way different tonally than like his other movies. And I do want to add that I did see Punch Drunk Love as well, which I have mixed feelings about, but I thought it was a decent, kind of a movie with Adam Sandler. So I liked what he did there. But I've always liked Paul Thomas Anderson's work. I wouldn't say I think I'd probably put him a little bit below Quentin Tarantino as far as influence and directors that I kind of grew up watching. And after There Will Be Blood, I kind of went into a period where I stopped kind of watching movies. I know I worked at Blockbuster, but it became kind of a drag because you work in retail. But Inherent Vice is a movie that has always been on my radar because it had that kind of sort of from what I'd seen in the trailer, it was like an irreverent kind of Joaquin Phoenix is a PI, kind of funny stuff happens, and I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be a light movie. Clocks in at like around 2.5 hours, so you know how I feel about that. But
Yeah.
overall, the story revolves around Joaquin Phoenix's character. He plays this pretty much private investigator that's like perpetually stoned. So I was getting a lot of Big Lebowski vibes when I was first watching this, and he gets wrapped up in a conspiracy, and then the whole case gets all weird and everything, and then he just finds himself in serious circumstances. Then, yeah, like and he's high all the time. Um, stylistically, I thought it was great. There were some shots that I thought were really awesome. Overall, you could tell it's done by a director who knows what he's doing. I didn't mind Joaquin Phoenix. If there was one thing that I would say about this movie that kind of irked me, besides the runtime, would probably be there was this like kind of narration going on throughout the movie, by a character who was kind of omniscient, I guess, but also was part of the plot, and I found the narration to be really annoying at times and kind of very self-aware, and that kind of took me out. But there were parts where I definitely laughed, and it takes place in the early '70s, so it kind of is like in line with what you were talking about with the Nice Guys. So it's kind of got that same vibe. I mean, it's right in the beginning of the '70s, so it's basically like a PI movie, but if your PI was like on drugs the whole time, which I did find that kind of funny. And I think that Joaquin Phoenix does a great job. There's a lot of hippies versus the establishment stuff in here. But overall, like, did I enjoy it? As a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, yeah, I did. Um, again, I probably will end up watching this movie again sometime in the future, just to kind of like see what I missed because there's so much going on. Obviously, I mean, I feel like I kind of missed some stuff while I was watching it, but overall, it was enjoyable. I just thought that again, the narration and the voiceover was kind of just a drag to me. But when I look at my movies and I think about where this ranks, I put it, and you're gonna be like, okay, well, this can't be ranking very high, but I actually put it right below When We Were King. So this is actually going to be number 5 for me, I believe, as far as movies that I've seen, just because um, the way that it was shot and the way that the plot like turned out and everything and how it all worked out, I thought it was very well done and I enjoyed it. I just wish it was a little bit shorter. But I can't say that I like Nosferatu better or any other ones that are in that kind of second tier.
Hmm.
So I'm ranking this one, kind of like as the fifth best movie. It's not like going in there with a lot of confidence, but I think that it was just, it had its funny moments. I, I'll be honest with you, I think The Nice Guys is better than this movie. So, because The Nice Guys is just pure fun, and
Yes.
I think I know what Paul Thomas Anderson's trying to do with this movie, and again, I got the vibe, but I wouldn't say it was like super enjoyable. But I still understand the craft and I get it, and so that's why I kind of ranked it at five. And again, it does have a little bit of a noir style, and there are some, kind of like funny moments, but five is what feels good for me for this one.
A top five film. Did you expect that
Yeah,
this
for
week?
now.
For now. I mean, yes, things can obviously change.
Uh, as we look at these lists, right? It's like, you kind of start looking at these things, you're saying how you feel, and it's kind of like what your gut goes through. It's not a confident five, and I don't think it'll stay there, but I think that that's kind of, where it is. I think it's just above that kind of middle tier that I have right now with Nosferatu, Terrifier, Menu, and Northman, and
Yeah.
all these other ones. I think it's right on the edge of that at five. I'm happy I saw it. I will continue to watch Paul Thomas Anderson movies. I know Licorice Pizza is one of them that is for free as well.
That's an interesting
Phantom
title.
Thread. Yeah.
Not that I follow,
Phantom
I
Thread
know,
is
yeah.
no, but like, and there's other ones like Phantom Thread with Daniel Day Lewis that Sarah's turned me on to. So, again, I think I just need to rewatch this again. It just didn't have the oomph that I thought it was going to have. Although, like there is particularly one sequence in this film um, that I thought was an absolute masterpiece, and it involves him going to this. He's investigating this real estate agency, and he goes there, and it's just the way that the cinematography is, and driving there, and then from Joaquin getting out of his car and walking there as well. Very well done, But a movie is not just sequences, right? Like it's
Correct.
also the plot, and it's how you feel about things and how much you feel engaged in what's going on. And I think that um, I think it was inconsistent. But I'm willing to give it, obviously I'm willing to put it up there based on, just the way that it was done.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, as we're looking at our list from week to week, you might change it, even without seeing it. I know you did that with Hell or High Water because it wasn't that like at like number two or three at one time, and then you had to drop it. Sometimes when
Yeah,
you sit on
that
it,
was a honeymoon period.
yeah, it happens,
That was-
and it happens. I've done it too, and from going up, going down, you just really have to
Mhm.
think about it, and sometimes it changes, and yeah, no, it gets harder, but we kind of are seeing the tears, so
Mhm.
Soto, after
You get a feel for it,
we get a good feel. Even now, I sometimes look at my list and I'm like, I kind of like this list, but then I'm like, well, but nothing sells me on moving something. But you never know. You never ever know.
It was better than Peanut Butter Falcon.
A heartwarming story with body slams. No,
Yeah, and peanut butter.
peanut butter. I don't want to know. I definitely don't want to know. But anyhow, Soto, I kind of continued this private investigator movie watching. But anyhow, so the next day
Wow.
after, well, not on purpose. So obviously, after watching The Nice Guys the next day, it's like, all right, again, I went to Netflix, and yeah, I think it was on Netflix. Or was I? No, it had to be Netflix. I didn't know if I went there or Tubi. Not that it matters. And I started just saying, what's next? What do I feel like? And so I saw this movie. It was 90 minutes. I like it. It had puppets. I'm like, I'm interested. It was
Oh,
R rated.
okay.
And I was like, R rated
What?
puppets. I'm like, let's do it. So I
Let's do this.
watched the 2018 film, The Happytime Murders. Have you heard
Oh, I
about
think
this?
I have. I have seen like the thumbnail for this.
Yep, yep. So we're going to get into this a little bit. But first, I knew nothing obviously going in outside of this the quick thumbnail, the quick time, the R rated, and it's going. And I see that it's written, directed, and produced by Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son, who is now basically the who runs the Jim Henson Company. So I'm like, wow, going almost full circle from week one when I watched Jim Henson's Idea Man, I am now watching a film, an R-rated puppet film by his son. So I'm like, all right, this is interesting. Brian Henson, this is great, because obviously he's probably been doing a lot. So, first of all, I will say this: anyone who loves kind of raunchy comedies, if you're even a fan of like Team America, those kind of comedies, this is for you. If you're not a fan of those kind of movies, this is not. And I'm going to put that right there as a, warning. But Soto, for me, it was up my alley. I was like, I am in. So the quick premise is, it's a time period where both puppets and people now live together. It's just widely accepted that puppets move. It's not like a surprise, or anything like that. They've been entertaining people for ages, and now they just kind of live among them. But there is still kind of a prejudice to puppets because they're meant to entertain people. So some of them still do their song and dance, and some of them are just trying to get jobs. I guess the main puppet is Phil Phillips, his name, and he was the very first puppet to actually become a cop. But unfortunately, due to an accident with his partner, he got fired, and now he's a private investigator. So yes, I somehow stumbled upon another private investigator kind of movie. His former partner, is played by Miss Melissa McCarthy, who did Bridesmaids, did a lot of those kind of comedies, and she was great in this. I'm not going to say I love a lot of the things she has done, but it kind of worked in this, because this movie, Soto, goes well beyond what I expected. So to start off, they're kind of introducing the puppets, and he's just picking up his dry cleaner, and from another puppet, and he sees something going on in the back. There's a porno scene going on in the back. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" And the guy's like, "It's hard out here for us puppets. I need to make extra money. This is just what it is nowadays." So I saw something I thought,
Oh no.
not that I would never see. I don't even know how to explain it. I never thought my eyes would see this, but I'm going to tell you because I don't know if you're ever going to see it.
I kind of have a feeling.
Does it involve an octopus?
No,
Does it involve
it
a cow?
actually.
So, how many arms or tentacles does an octopus have?
8 from
Okay, yeah. This is going to be rhetorical. I don't know if you know this, but how many nipples does a cow's udder have where they milk? Let's just say 8. So let's think about this 8 tentacles.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, Soto. Milk and God knows what else was squirting everywhere. Like, I am watching this scene. I'm like, I do not know how to comprehend this. I am laughing my ass off, but I do not know how to comprehend this because I'm like, I know there's that theory where everything and anything is on the internet, pornographic wise, whatever. And I'm like, not that I look
Rule
into
34.
it. Not that thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. Rule 34. And I'm like, I somehow doubt that this was ever on there. But you know what? It probably is. And it probably is now.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, Brian Henson, the son of the great Jim Henson, who gave me The Muppets and Sesame Street and Fraggle Rock, is making backroom porno with an octopus and a cow. But I digress. So the reason why he got fired, real quick, is his partner Melissa McCarthy was being held by gunpoint by a puppet, and she's like, take the shot, and he's having a hard time because he didn't have the shot and shooting the puppet. He does take the shot, but he misses, killing someone else, and the guy actually does shoot Melissa McCarthy in the stomach, the main puppet Phil Phillips. I don't know why he called for backup, but he's like, she's not going to make it. Somehow the puppet drags her to a I guess a hospital that's made just for puppets. Like, I don't want to say like a veterinarian, but they specialize in puppets. And she needs a new liver or something. And they're like, we just do puppets here. God damn it, she's going to die. And now she has a puppet part. So she actually, because he couldn't shoot the guy, she got him fired. So they're kind of like the Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling thing that I just talked about in The Nice Guys. They don't like each other first, but they got to work together to solve this case. But,
Right.
I mean,
Classic.
it is. And it's just, so basically there is a show that used to be called the Happytime Gang. Basically think of a happy puppet show, and they're all dying because whoever is left gets like the most money. They're going to split the money between all the characters when the show goes off, and so every time someone dies, like that pool goes up. So that's kind of the quick premise of it. But so yeah, this was definitely raunchy. It was funny. I just was laughing. I did not expect this. I was just laughing a lot this week, and I loved it. And this is my kind of movie. Elizabeth Banks is in it as well. Maya Rudolph. Again, I know people love her or hate her, but small role. But it was just funny as shit. And I just could not stop it. And I did not think, that I was going to watch a puppet R-rated movie. So yeah, if you get a chance, see it. Anyone that loves it. And I had to think about where to place it, Soto. And I'm going to be honest. I'm looking like it was right with The Nice Guys. I'm like, is this worse or better than The Nice Guys? It actually, I put it one step above. I gave it it's now my new number 9 because this kind of, again, they're both just funny as shit. This could go back and forth. I just think I laughed more at this, but I laughed at both movies. The style and just seeing puppets shoot each other and yeah, like there's gunfights, Soto, and like their heads blow off, but it's just instead of obviously blood, you just see cotton go everywhere, and it's
Oh my God, really?
it's just hilarious. Like one guy's trying to put a hit on a puppet, but what does he do? He sends in the dogs because dogs are gonna rip apart toys. So it's almost like it's realistically puppets, and it's just again every step of the way I was laughing my ass off. I commend you, Brian Henson, for stepping out of your dad's shadow or your dad's legacy and doing something crazy like this. I don't know what else he's done. I didn't even know he was doing stuff like this. I just had a look at, just had written, directed, and produced by him. But yeah, so this was just, and it was actually a well thought out story. Like it wasn't just throwing in scenes or things that don't make sense. I mean, obviously the puppets, a lot of things don't make sense, but you know what? The story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's all we ask for in our movies.
But that's all we ask.
That's all we
really
ask.
like huge.
But yeah, I did not think I would be seeing a murder mystery with puppets and porn, and yet here I've watched 2 movies with private investigators, oddball teams, and porn. So yeah,
Muppet porn
Muppets
is what you just watched this weekend. This is going to be the week that Muppet
there was no official nudity except for the cow, which whatever. But again, I don't even know how to explain. Yes. It's not like Team America where they kind of show a lot worse, but it's just that kind of humor. So like I said, if you're into that kind of humor, you're into raunchy, and you're into something crazy, this might be for you. And like I said, I mean, I died laughing. I'm glad I watched this. I was not expecting, this to be on my list this year, but that's what happens when you browse. You never know what you're going to find, Soto. Oh yeah.
And you just were like, I'm going this way.
Yeah. And the last funny thing is, the puppets, there's a lot of puppets that do drugs, but their drug isn't like cocaine or anything like that. No, they sniff sugar. Sugar to them is just like gives them the high. So don't ask me why.
Oh wow. Brian Henson. Holy shit.
Yep.
I wonder what Jim Henson would think about this.
He'd be proud of his son. You know what? Sometimes you just got to go above and beyond. I don't think this kind of movie would have made it in the 80s when we were watching, Muppets and Fraggle Rock and The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all that stuff. This is definitely a different vibe. But, times have changed. We are more accepting of puppets.
Yeah, I can see that. Wow. I'm just trying to take a look at what Brian Henson's thing at Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah, because obviously he took over his dad's company, so I'm sure he sold
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yep, both I love.
I don't know why he was in he did some Farscape, which I like Farscape.
Never saw that one. No.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So Soto, let's get to your next movie. Did you end up watching? That's 3 private investigator movies in a row. Did you end up watching another PI movie? What's up?
No. Actually. I mean, it does have to do with law enforcement, but my next movie that I saw was called Kung Fu Killer. Again, came out in 2014. This stars one of my favorite martial artists, Donnie Yen. So this is your typical kind of Hong Kong martial arts movie, and I needed to watch something that was a martial arts movie that was more what I was looking for outside of, that was a little bit different than Shadow.
Yeah.
So, first things first, I wanted to see something that had color in it. And I wanted to watch a martial arts movie that had martial arts fighting in it. Now, the plot for this movie is Donnie Yen, who's always a badass. He is a martial arts instructor or a kung fu instructor for, I don't know, the Hong Kong Police Department, I guess is what I gathered. And in one of his duels, he ends up killing a guy. And so he turns himself in, and he ends up, doing his debt to society, and he's in jail, and because he knows that he used his martial arts for evil, and killed somebody. So through a series of circumstances, however, he has developed a fan, and that fan wants to be, he wants to conquer all the different kinds of martial arts disciplines that are around, whether it be grappling or weapons or kicking or anything like that. Like, this guy comes up and he starts kind of targeting masters in these different disciplines, like a serial killer, but kung fu. So this guy keeps going after different dudes, and eventually he wants a piece of Donnie Yen. And so Donnie Yen, he sees that these crimes are taking place, and he sees the patterns. Now he's in jail, and his character is like, I can help with this. So he talks with the main lead investigator, and he's like, hey, if you let me out on leave, I think I know what this guy's motives are, and I can help. And that's pretty much the premise of the movie. They start hunting down this rogue, evil kung fu guy, and yeah, so there's a lot of fighting, and that ensues, and it's pretty great. And it was a nice, refreshing martial arts movie. It didn't require a lot of my thought. I go back to, if I'm watching a movie that I don't want to really think about, I'll watch a horror movie or I'll watch martial arts. And I love Donnie Yen. One of my favorite movies that he has called Flashpoint, where he pretty much plays a detective in Hong Kong whose main way of interrogating customers, interrogating criminals, is he just beats the shit out of them. And I love that. And Flashpoint is great. I love pretty much anything that Donnie Yen is in. He's in the Ip Man movies as well. But for this movie in particular, it was good. It came in, it got out, it did its thing, it had good martial arts. I'm not a big fan of CG stuff in my martial arts. I like the more brutal kind of realistic stuff. And yeah, I know there are some modern movies that have a lot of CG, or they have CG parts. I felt that the CG in some of these fights kind of took me out of it a little bit. I'm much more a fan of things like the Raid 1 and the Raid 2, which is a lot more visceral, and it just feels more real. And that was my only real criticism of this movie. Other than that, I thought it was great. It was a love letter to a lot of Hong Kong martial arts movies. There's a lot of guys that have been in other movies that were in this as well, and there are references to Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. And overall, this is great. It was 110 minutes long, and it was perfect for, I think I saw this on a Tuesday night. Tuesday or Monday night. It was in and out. I think it was Monday night, actually. It was in and out, and I didn't have to do too much thinking, and it was great. It was Donnie Yen. It was over, and things were resolved as we like. There was a beginning, middle, and end. And yeah, overall, I thought this was decent. And as far as where I rank it above the Peanut Butter Falcon. So Peanut Butter Falcon's at
16.
15, so I have to put it above that, just below Oppenheimer, and I think there'll be some movies that are in between, but I can't say this movie was less enjoyable than Peanut Butter Falcon, Free State of Jones, and Shadow. So I have to put it kind of in that tier, and we'll see how long it stays there. But I think that it being the new 15 is where that's going to be.
Yep, it was just right underneath Oppenheimer.
Or
16.
16.
Yeah, because you added
whatever.
Whatever. I knew what you meant.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way you were talking about that movie, I expected it to be a little bit higher, but maybe
because it's just like it's not anything that reinvents the martial arts genre. It was enjoyable, much more enjoyable than Peanut Butter Falcon and that kind of thing, like that tier of movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't say it was above some of the other ones that it's been in. Like, for example, the Fall Guy, which I've talked about, and Ryan Gosling again. Fall Guy was fun the whole time, and it was done really well, and like that the way that was. But Kung Fu Killer, yeah, I think that 16 is a perfect place for it.
I can't believe, just thinking that we're ranking shit at 16. I don't
Dude,
know why
just wait
that's
till we're
just,
ranking it at 66.
this film's number 84. This,
Oh my god! Yeah, like, I feel like this film is, right in the 70s. I think that that's where it's gonna be. Like that's future. You and I are gonna have to have that conversation.
oh, I'm gonna love it. That's the whole point about this. But yeah, no, I do not have a martial arts film yet on my list, but I know you still mentioned House of Flying Daggers, which is on my list to watch. I don't know if I'll get to it next week.
Don't you own it?
I do. Yeah, I do. So we worked at Blockbuster.
Yeah,
You know how many movies I own that I have not seen. Hence, I can add to
that's
this.
fucked up.
It's just
That's
that's what I
so
love.
fucked up.
But that's just how we're going. It is. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It is. It's just the way I
You have
am.
to open it and put it into the PlayStation. The other ones you stream, you just hit play.
Yeah. No.
It's
I
not
mean,
like a
and
whole
I will.
thing. You don't
So
get to eject it.
yeah, it will be watched this year. I have a feeling since you suggested it, it'll definitely be watched this year. So,
I
but
recommend it. Yeah, for sure.
but Soto, I did actually see one more movie. I did, and I
Wow,
saw
3 movies.
3 movies. I actually watched it earlier today, and I was on Tubi. This time I definitely was on Tubi, and it was on my list, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm like, I usually don't like watching movies the same day we record, but I did, and I'm going to talk about it. A lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but I have a few movies where I brought back nostalgia for me. Because again, there's not a lot of movies I've seen in the last 10 years since I've left Blockbuster, But I saw like Clerks 3. We talked about Beetlejuice, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, films where things I love the original films and I had to see. So I kind of went that route because Soto, I saw from 2020 Bill and Ted Face the
2020.
Music.
Oh my god!
I saw it.
I've been looking at that.
Well,
And
I enjoyed it. First of all, it's not. It does not reinvent the wheel too much. It's the same. Because all right, so obviously Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, one of the classic. I say classics, but for me, classic nostalgic '80s movies. That was '80s, right? Or was it '90s? No, that had to have been '80s. Either way, late '80s, '90s, whenever the fuck that came out. I loved it. I used to watch it all the time. It's great. George Carlin is awesome. I always loved him as a stand-up comic. A lot of people love it in our age group. I even loved Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I know it was a little bit different, but the premise is still there. They're trying to, create the song that's going to unite the world, and they sing it at the end. I love William Sadler as Death. Love him as an actor. So yes, Face the Music
great.
Soto takes place 25 years later after the Bogus Journey. And they thought that song that they sang at the end of Bogus Journey was the song that would, unite humanity. It wasn't. It was number
Like,
one.
wasn't it like God gave rock and roll to you? Or
Yes,
some shit
something like that.
that's-
It was number one on the charts the first week, and then it went down. And ever since then, Bill and Ted have been trying and trying to create the song while living their lives, and they still 25 years later have not created the song that unites humanity. So yes, it's obviously 25 years later, and I laugh because I'm going to bring up a little bit Jay and Silent Bob here, because Kevin Smith talks about reboots and remakes and how they're trying to cash in, and they bring in the younger people to give you enough nostalgia, but add the new characters. Bill and Ted both have daughters, and Ted's daughter is named Billy, and Bill's daughter is named Theodore. So yes, they named their daughters in a way after each other, which is hilarious. So yeah, quick premise. After 25 years, Ted's thinking like, first of all, it's still funny to see Keanu Reeves play Ted. But I was like, maybe we're just not meant to do this. Maybe we should focus on our families. He's like, I can sell my guitar for this much. And they're thinking about quitting. And then they are
Wild
visited.
Stallion.
They're going, because trust me, the songs that they've created, Soto, are horrible. Like every year they put out albums. They got the few fans. Like they've gone down, but they're trying all these different techniques because they don't know how to create the greatest song that's supposed to unite humanity. They know in the future they are told they did, but they still haven't done it. So yes, they're talking about quitting, breaking up, and then they get a visit from Rufus's daughter, and who's just like, "Come with me, Back to the Future." Um, that's
Back
weird to
to the
say, Back
Future.
to the Future, and the future people want to talk to you. I forgot what they're called. Anyhow, so they took, you have not created the song. So now instead of creating unit, since they took too long, it's not just humanity that needs to be saved, it's reality. They're like,
My God.
so basically what's happening is reality is breaking apart. Like George Washington is going to like Babe Ruth's era. Like, so like for some reason they're popping up in different timelines. And so, yeah, so they steal the old red telephone booth and they are like, well, why don't we just, we don't have it in us to sing this, to make the song right now. Why don't we just go to the future and steal the song from ourselves? And they're like, is it stealing? I'm like, is it stealing if you're stealing from yourselves? So their journey is they're going every few years, they're meeting future installments of themselves trying to find the song. So that's kind of hilarious because every time they're fucking things up or different timeline, their daughters
Mhm.
are like, well, while they're doing that, why don't we get our dads a band and let's go back and get the greatest artists of all time? So they go back and they're trying to recruit Jimi Hendrix. They're trying to recruit Louis Armstrong, just get, they're like, our dads need a band. So yes, the story is what all three movies have been about. The same thing, the shenanigans throughout time to, what happens at the end, create the song. Is it or is it not going to save humanity? But I did enjoy it. I was laughing at parts, but it was very nostalgic, but it's things that have been done already, in these films. It's not as great as obviously Excellent Adventure, and I still think I like Bogus Journey better. I kind of want to see that movie again because it's kind of left my memory a little bit.
Love
But
Focus Journey.
I do. I just haven't
Some my
seen it in
battleship.
such a long time. But yeah, so that's they're trying to save reality. It's basically so same, like I said, similar premise, but yeah,
Yeah.
I laughed at the fact that I'm like, yeah, I'm still laughing at Bill and Ted, but it's still Bill and Ted. It's still enjoyable. Like I kind of said with Jay and Silent Bob, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna laugh at it. It's not the best in the series, but you almost have to watch it since you watched the first two. You know what I mean? So, is it worth it? Yeah, it's definitely worth the watch. Where I rank it,
It's a time travel film. Like it's important.
it is a time, and again, like any other film, it does have a beginning, middle, end. We kind of joke about that, but yeah, I think it's just hilarious seeing Bill and Ted seeing different versions of themselves throughout the years. So, um, but yeah, they did not reinvent the wheel or reinvent their story. They just kind of told it differently. But yeah, there. I don't know what more I can say because I think you should see it because if you did like the first two, again, it's a good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good conclusion. You never know because again, I thought Bogus Journey was the conclusion because they said this is the greatest song, but they tricked us. But you know what? I did like it. I did rank this at 14, one above Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and right underneath Terrifier
Ah,
2. So I did like this
yeah.
more than it's kind of in that area. It feels in nostalgic. I would rather watch the first two than this one again, but I did enjoy it, but I'm not gonna seek this out again for the most part.
Mhm.
Like I would the first two, which I probably will when I got time. Probably next year when we start watching movies again that we have watched.
I
But
know, I know. I keep thinking about that because I want to fucking watch Last of the Mohicans, but I'm like, I don't got time to watch Last of the Mohicans. I gotta watch nothing but new movies.
you got time. I mean, you just have to sacrifice one for 1 week.
God,
I
I
know.
don't even have time to play video games right now. On top of watching these movies, I'm like looking at my situation. I'm like, do I play a video game or do I watch a new movie? Well, I've got to watch a new movie. I think I just got to do. I can't get into these 2.5 hour movies because they take up my fucking life. So if I watch a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie, it's like I'm fucked. I'm fucked for the whole weekend. So I've got to do better time management. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like I said, my schedule. I know you watch yours on the weekends, and I have, but most of the time I watch mine on the weekdays. I get home from work before Jill gets home, or if she's just on the PlayStation. I'm like, I'll pop in a movie. Usually I'm just scrolling YouTube or TikTok or just chilling, or I'm like, I got time. So I know my schedule kind of helps out a little bit more than yours. So, but you know what? I mean, like when you got to do what's enjoyable. If you want to see Last of the Mohicans, I know this is just a fun list we're doing. We're gonna hit 200 regardless. It's okay. If we only see one movie a week, that's fine. We can, even if we don't hit 200. You said the fact that we've watched more movies than we ever have. Well, at least I have. I don't know where you're at yet, but in past
Been a
years.
while. Yeah, this has been crazy. I mean, I know we started last year unofficially with the little project that we did where we started watching movies and kind of tracking them. But
And rating them,
this
yeah.
is like every week I'm like, okay, but I don't know. I kind of we'll see. I really don't want to go into the 2 hour movies. I'll tell you, there's this movie out right now that's on Netflix. I don't know. I forget what it's called, but it's let me see. It has freaking what's his face in it, but it's like directed by the Russo brothers. It's like number one film, but people are saying this is one of the worst movies of the year.
Oh, is it the one with Chris
Uh,
Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown?
yes,
I've been seeing that
yeah,
too.
that
I
one.
debated that. That was one. I'm like the Electric State or something. I don't. I don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
might watch that because it's the newest thing, but I also might regret it, which makes me want to watch it.
Well, if you do
Because I've
watch it, let
heard
me
it's
know because that's
fucking
been one I've
dog
been
shit.
eyeing as well. And if you do watch it, I will watch it the same week with you.
People are like, "This is not good." Like, and then there's Zack Snyder's movies that he has on Netflix as well. Like, there's a lot of trash on Netflix. Um,
That's why
I
it's
don't know. We'll
fun.
see. Do I hate myself? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to hate myself this weekend. It's like, why do I got to seek out? Like, I know that Electric State is bad because I've read a lot of bad things about it, and it looks bad. So why would I subject myself to that? I
That's
hope
just.
it's not bad and long. If it's bad and long, then I'm like, that was a waste of my
Oh
fucking
no, I
time. But if
think
it's
it's.
bad,
I'm gonna look
90
this up.
minutes, that's tough.
No, no, no. It's over 2 hours. Electric State. It's yeah.
Why?
2 hours 8 minutes.
Why?
2 hours eight
What
minutes.
does it need to say? What does it need to say? Listen, everybody. Do you want to make a movie that's going to make me interested? Make it fucking 90 minutes and get in and get out and get the fuck out.
See the
Nothing has
Happytime
to be
Murders.
two and a
That's
half
90
hours.
minutes.
Yeah, like nothing has to be 2 fucking hours. It's not that fucking important to say. Stop. Stop
well,
with this.
well, so,
I have a life.
well, so I am gonna give a spoiler to a movie I am gonna watch next week or this weekend actually
Oh,
for next week. It's funny that you mentioned over 2 hours because this one is. Me and Jill. So it comes
you and
out.
me.
It comes out on Peacock tomorrow, but me and Jill are gonna watch it Saturday. I'm gonna
Oh,
come home from work. We're
oh,
gonna order pizza
I
and
know
we
what
are
this
gonna
is.
watch Wicked.
Cool.
Yep, it's gonna happen. And
Cool. That's all I
I,
have to say about that. Cool.
I know it's not. I know
Free.
it's not your style of movie, but it's been on our radar, and I obviously will not officially rank it, but I have a feeling it could be a new number one. But I will wait till I
It's like
see it.
that?
It could be. I just what I know of the
What makes
story.
you think that?
I don't know. I've loved a few of the songs. I know a few of the songs. I kind of know the story. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just saying. There's like I said that there's little high hopes. Which
Wow.
when you go in with high hopes, think about this, Soto. I thought a lot more. Well, not really, but Beetlejuice. You know, it's like that one fell. You know, right now, and I'm trying to pull up my rankings back up. Beetlejuice is number 21 on my list out of
Ooh.
25. I mean, really think about that
Wow.
because it's right under Soda. It's right underneath Tag. Think about that for a second. A movie where adults are playing tag, I enjoyed and ranked better than Beetlejuice. I'm not going to get
I
into it
mean,
again.
it's
I'm not
slept
going.
on. You've been talking about Tag being slept on. You thought it
That
was
and My
good,
Old
but it
Ass
was
was
going to
another
be
one
even
that
worse.
I kind of rose the ranks a little bit when I thought about it. Um,
Mhm.
and it's funny to think about it because again, going way back to my first weekend, thinking about the films we first saw, I'm like, that seems like so long ago. But anyhow, yes, we are going to watch
Oh,
Wicked unless something happens. Our plan is to watch it Saturday. Order pizza. You know, that's a good thing about watching at home. You know, it's like, oh, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, 40 minutes. Like, all right, let's pause it, take a break, and then we can get back to it. So that's the only good news about that. But yeah,
pizza and Wicked.
yeah, pizza and Wicked. I was just like, listen, I'll just get some Domino's pizza, you know, just kind of quickly bring it home. Something cheap and easy. You know, I've been going to the gym every day this week,
Is
so
is Domino's cheap?
yeah. If you go
That's
online,
my question.
you can do like the $7 deals. You can pretty much get like medium pizzas and sides for $6.99. All I usually do is get a couple medium cheeses. Maybe if I'm in the mood for like chicken wings, I'll get a side of chicken wings instead. But yeah, they if you go online, it's just
Mm.
like $7 things. But they also have $7 pastas, $7 cheese, breadsticks. blah blah blah. So you just you put in that code,
Domino's.
and you just get everything. I mean, it's just medium, but you can get up to 2 toppings as well. So, like I said, I mean, I'm not going overboard. We usually just get cheese. Every now and then, I'm in the pineapple mood, but I'm like, I don't. I'll just bring home a couple cheese pizzas, and yeah, we're gonna watch Wicked. That's happening. So yes,
Nice.
next week we're gonna talk about it. I do feel, like I said, I just feel it's gonna be high up for me. I mean, dude, Amelia Perez is my #1 movie right now, and like I said,
Yeah.
and so it's a
Mine is
musical.
Godzilla -0.
My God, let's look at you. Godzilla -1. Lawrence of
Or -1,
Arabia.
yeah.
I know what you meant. Eraserhead, When We Were Kings, and now Inherent Vice. That is your top 5. My top 5.
Yeah.
Let's
2025.
Amelia Perez, Air, Jim Henson, Idea Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Clerks 3. Like, Clerks 3 was the first movie I
Clerks
watched, Soto,
3.
and it's at #5 still. It was a perfect end to that.
Jesus.
I'm going to
Clerks
love at
of
the
all
end of the
things.
year when we look at list of like 100, and we're just like, oh. But anyhow,
Scared.
anything else you want to
Scared
add before we
about
go? You know, watch some. You're going to plan some
No.
90-minute movies this week. That weekend. That's your goal, right?
Maybe, you know, I mean, I don't fucking know, dude. It's like, you know, again, it'll be Saturday morning. You know, I'll probably have an edible or two, and you know, I'll kind of see what strikes me. You know, my dumb ass, I'll probably just end up watching Thin Red Line, and it'll be 3 fucking hours, and I'll hate myself. But
But you'll
I
see
don't
a
know.
movie that you want to see, and that's the important thing. You know, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or I might just see Electric State and just say I fucking hate myself. Yeah, that's better fucking material anyways for recording. Just being like, yeah, I saw Electric State, and guess what? It fucking sucks. Or maybe I'll be like, this movie's fucking genius. You never know.
that's true. You know, just because people hate it, doesn't mean you won't like it.
Maybe I'll watch Paddington 2. You know what I mean?
Oh my God,
Maybe I'll find out
I
what it is to
can't
be a
wait.
better man.
We need to know. So if you come out of that movie saying I am a better man now, I mean,
Or I'll just wake up on Saturday morning. I'm like, you know what I want to watch? The Notebook. I just want to wake up and just be like, I have my coffee, have my breakfast, and then I'm just gonna watch the fucking Notebook. You never know. We'll see. Stay tuned.
anyhow, that is the 200 movie challenge, episode 10. We're at 45
10.
movies, Soto. We are at 45 total movies. We are getting there. Episode 10, mid-March. Or actually close to end of March. What the 21st when we're recording this, but it's been a fun ride.
Well,
so
basically,
yeah, it's basically end of March. So but again, we'll do this again next week, and I know Wicked's on the docket, but we'll see. What will Soto do? That is going to be the question, the $1 million question.
Yeah.
What is Soto going to watch?
we're gonna fucking find out. That's for sure.
But anyhow, let us know in the comments if anyone's watching this part of the video or listening. Probably not. Just say hi to us. Just recommend a film.
Yeah.
Watch movies, people. We love to.
Also watch something, and it again, have it be free. If you just want to comment, and have us watch something terrible to torture us, that's cool. We'll do it.
Will we, though? Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
If it's
we will.
free.
All right.
I'll
Until
do it.
next week, have a good one.
Let's press play.